Hey, folks, this is Myron from the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Ashton Starr, who is actually live at wrestling training tonight at WWA4. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Having a great day. A busy day, but a good day. Good day. So you're at wrestling training. How long have you been with WWA4?
I started training at WWA4. I believe it was May 6, 2013. I remember the exact date. It's crazy. But yeah, I've been with them ever since. I've been there when it was training under Mr. Hughes, and now it's training under AR Fox. And yeah, it's a really good place. I couldn't have been more happy here.
When I spoke to Dementia, she put AR Fox over so hard. Like
he deserves it. Like I'm not gonna speak too much about it before Fox took it over, but when he did take it over, there were no promises, there are no guarantees, but he was like, "This is what I can help you with. This is how I was taught." You know, we were both taught how to wrestle by the same person. But when Fox took it over, he was like, "This is what I've learned from my experiences, and I can help you with this and that." And I mean, now the WWA4 is a sponsored training facility for WWN Live, which hosts like FIP and Style Battle and Evolve and Shine and all that good stuff. Which I've had the pleasure of being a part of both Style Battle and ACW under the WWN belt. So yeah, it's Fox has been very detrimental, not detrimental, but he's been very like supportive. He's been very influential, is what I meant to say, about all of his students and everybody under his umbrella. He's very helpful.
That's awesome. So 2013, was that your first wrestling training?
Yeah, that was my first time in a ring.
Oh, cool. Well, what made you decide to get into wrestling?
Well, people ask me this all the time, and it's a weird story to tell, but the first thing I ever saw wrestling-wise wasn't even wrestling. It was a bikini contest between Sable and Jacqueline.
Yes,
this is
I
their
remember
whole
that.
feud.
Yes.
And I remember, of course, I remember the infamous handprints on the boots.
Yes.
And I was in and out of wrestling from there, and then I fully started watching wrestling in like 2000. So actually, when people ask me what got me started in wrestling, I say a bikini contest got me started in wrestling.
Well, you know, that's as interesting as most people's story. I mean, you got what you got. That's a good, interesting conversation starter right there.
Yeah,
and that was a famous moment in WWE.
Right.
Cool.
It is so crazy because people are like, yeah, I'm Stone Cold in the Rock at WrestleMania and all these like big, like huge matches. And then they asked me, what got you started? I was like, oh, I saw a bikini contest. That's what got me locked in.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I believe I saw that live myself, or on TV. I didn't see it in person. Always was a massive Jacqueline fan. God, she was impressive.
She is my favorite. One of the reasons why I wrestle. I have a top a group of people who influenced me to wrestle, and I have a top three. My top three are Bret Hart, Booker T, and Jacqueline. So those
pretty big top three you got there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big top three.
That's pretty cool. You got a lot of champions there. I mean, Jacqueline was one of the most dominating women in wrestling history.
Right. But it wasn't just that. It was watching her, and it was watching this girl who always had odds stacked against her because she was short, and she always would wrestle men. She had attitude, and she was very technical, and she could brawl, but she could be very technical. She was very all around a good wrestler.
Yes, I have to agree with you 100% on that. I have to agree with you. And Booker T and Bret Hart, also great wrestlers.
Right.
But so you get these people, the people you like, you decide to get into wrestling. What do you think your goals are when you get into wrestling? Where do you see yourself? What was your plan?
I think my goals, like, at the time was like everybody else's. It was like, I want to get WWE. I want to be WWE champion. You know, it's like what everybody wants to do. And that hasn't changed. But it's like when you start wrestling, you realize there's so much more than just getting into WWE. There's a lot of avenues that you can take. I want to there's so many people that I want to influence, and it's a lot more than just doing WWE.
A lot of people want to go to Japan these days. Has that been any interest to you?
I would like to go to Japan. That's a WWE fan. I would like to go to Japan. You know, it's I would always want to go just to say I had the experience of wrestling in Japan. I like my face though, so my face would be pretty ruined. But
yeah, they don't play
I
over
love
there.
my face. They don't play, but it's a challenge that I would be more than willing to accept. I would love to go to Japan and compete at some point. And I also think it looks good on your wrestling resume. Say that you've been to Japan. So
yeah, I was talking to O'Shea Edwards the other day, and he's going to go to England and wrestle in Europe, and it's like, got to get that out there, got to get the experience. People like to see the experience. You know, you have to go to all these different companies, observe all the different styles, because I mean, there's the American style, but then that has so many different categories in itself. But then you have to realize there's a Japanese style, there's a European style, there's an Asian style. There's so many other avenues and different styles, and learning how to work with people. There's the lucha style. There's so many different avenues, and you have to learn to work with these people, whether it be through language barriers or combining the two styles, whether they clash or not. It's so much. Indeed. Now, since you said you're traveling, you want to travel around. I've seen you on bills from Georgia, and I've also seen you all the way up to New York.
Yeah.
So you wrestle a pretty busy schedule.
I try to. I try to stay as busy as possible, and it's hard, especially since I'm trying to branch out more up north, you know. But yeah, New York was a big deal for me. It was for the Matter of Pride event that they have been doing, and have been making an annual event in New York. I was reached out to by Rick Cataldo, who was, when I was forming my gimmick here in the South, there were a few people that I looked at and see who I wanted to mold. Rick Cataldo and Eddie McQueen of the Fella Twins were two of the people, along with Simon Sturman and a few other people. But when they reached out to me about going to New York, I had never been, so I freaked out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I freaked out. I was like, oh, it's my first time in New York. And then they showed me the poster, and I'm in the middle of this poster. And I'm like, wow, this is like a really big deal. Like, I burst into tears, and people were like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I have no idea.
That's a pretty big event, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really big event, because it's not just the fact that it's a wrestling show. And not everybody on the show falls under the LGBT belt. So there are people who are heterosexual that work the show as well.
Yeah.
But it's just a bunch of wrestlers coming together to bring a spotlight to those who normally don't get it because of their preferences or whatever. So I was very happy to be a part of that. I put on a hell of a match with Sunny Kiss, and it was so much fun.
That's awesome. Wrestling, from a historical perspective, is a pretty accepting business. Do you find that yourself?
I had to find that out. I was so because it's a sport. Yes. So with any sport, you know, there's this bravado or this macho behind it. So I didn't fully come out and accept me until like last year. Yeah. But you know, that was because I was like, I don't know how it would be perceived in sports, and I didn't know how people would take it or how people would try to deal with me or in sports, or if I would get dealt with less. So it was a lot that played into it. But then at the end of the day, you have to be yourself. You have to be comfortable. So that was the reason for the whole character change that I went through, where I started to add in hair and all kinds of stuff. And it was just an expression of just being yourself. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what, your hair game's solid. There's a lot of women in wrestling right now, and a lot of women in the world that need a hair game that good. So I got to give you credit for that, man.
Oh, trust me, it had some good days. When I first started doing it, it was awful. I had a lot of my own hair out, and it's a little more bushy than a weave, so it looked really bad. And my hair was dyed red. It was awful. It was awful. I had to learn. Luckily, Kiera Hogan helped me out. Oh, and Kiera Hogan and Fox's wife, Ashley, helped me out a lot.
Kiera's got some wild hair, you know.
She does, though, but I want my red hair back.
Oh, it's so soft looking, too.
Oh, no, from grabbing it and throwing her to the mat, I can tell you it's very soft.
So you do a lot of intergender wrestling. Who?
I said I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. You said you do. And the matches I've seen you in, I've seen you at AWE, the last show they did, and I've seen you at Roar the other night, which was phenomenal.
Thank you.
That was great. It was a good time. I'd never been to Opera Nightclub, and as an old fat man from Gwinnett County, probably wouldn't have ever gone to Opera Nightclub. My buddy Nick that runs the whole podcast, his daughter goes all the time. She's 19. Yeah. She thinks it's great. But it was a unique experience for us to get in our responsible, cheaply operated vehicles and drive down to Atlanta. Because my mom lives in Ansley Park. So I get down to Atlanta a good bit, but that, we don't nightclub a lot. We mainly sit in people's basements and drink beer. So we got out there to this nightclub. And it was a great environment for wrestling. Had a blast.
Yeah, it was. A lot of people don't think that a club would be a good environment, but AWE has been doing it at clubs for as long as I've been a part of AWE.
And it's a good club show.
Yeah, it's a really good show. And it's crazy because when I started in AWE in what was that, 2015. It was, I forgot what show it was, but I debuted at the Masquerade in a triple threat match, and I think this was the same night Kiera debuted against Dementia DeRose. But yeah, I debuted, and God, I hate that guy now. But I had little dreads, and I walked around with fur boots, and I had a fur ring attire, not ring attire, but like entrance attire, and it was, I hate that guy. That guy was fresh on the scene and didn't know what he was doing, although he did take really good photos. I take that. but it's crazy to see where it's been and where it's at now. I mean, that was at the Masquerade. That Masquerade in particular no longer exists. But to go from that guy to where I am at now in AWE is pretty crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Now, you're going to be on the next show for AWE?
Well, no secrets. I will be there. I will say that. I will be there.
Okay, cool.
What it is I'm doing, we'll have to wait and see. But I will definitely be there.
That's awesome. We're going to try to get out to that. I got to get another day off work. God, I should have never taken a job where I have to work weekends, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Hey, you got to make money. I get it.
Yeah. And this is good for us. The wrestling is good. The podcasting stuff, we love it. It's a labor of love. It's so rewarding and fulfilling, but a full-time job is hard to get rid of. So
I know, especially when it keeps the money flowing,
Oh yeah. I got too many hungry people at this house need to eat. Yeah. Not just me. So you've been with Roar and AWE for a while now. Y'all also do shows, every Thursday night at WWA4?
Yeah, they're every Thursday, 8 p.m. bell time at the WWA4. I am the current intergender champion at the WWA4. So I carry that title with pride. I actually beat Dementia for it.
Oh.
Well, actually, she beat me for it, and then I beat her back for it. But she can't have it again because it's mine. Yeah, every Thursday, 8 p.m., you get to see the new up-and-coming talent that the WW4 is pushing out onto the indie scene. which really is a testament to WWA4 because a while ago you had a sprinkle of WWA4 talent out on the scene kind of, but now especially in Georgia there's a boom of talent that I couldn't be more happy of. Like,
oh yeah, I see a lot of big names when I look at the cards the WWA4 puts out.
Right. It's like, of course, Austin Theory, who is probably one of the, if not the first student of Fox. Now he's doing Evolve, and, there's AC Mack and David Ali and Talon and Rudy and Ryan Rembrandt. There's so many people. The tag champs, who are Alan Angels and Tommy Maserati. They're putting out a lot of good talent.
Yes.
And this couldn't be a better time for the WWA4.
That's good. That's good because wrestling right now the indie scene is so super hot, and you can see anything you want to. You can see it anywhere. And Atlanta this is my opinion, is such a great place for indie wrestling.
It's becoming that way. It's definitely becoming that way because it was hard to find a show when I was. I mean, this is like. My first IndyMax was in 2014. So at that point, it was really hard for me to reach out to places. And then at the time, there was nobody really helping me or helping to put my name out there to get matches or whatever. And luckily, Kevin Pierce, who was with AW at the time, got me connections with AWE. But as the WWA4, we set up group chats and we're like, I have this show, they need this many people, and there's this show, they need this many people, or come to this show and help set up and get the name out there. So they're now very accepting and very willing to help.
That's awesome.
It wasn't so much like that before. It was kind of like you get it how you get it. But now, I credit Fox for it. Everybody's willing to help everybody. So it's definitely more of a family environment.
That's good. That's good because there's so many shows out there, and there's something for everybody. You can see an adult show at AWE, or you can go out to Southern Fried, where we go all the time, and see a family-generated old school. Or you can go over the Douglasville, where Robert from the Midnight Express runs shows.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a completely different environment. There's something for everybody, and women's wrestling is getting so huge. Is that where you're going to go? Is that the direction you're going to go in the most? Or are you going to go wrestle men again? Or are you going to work your way back and forth?
Well, I don't mind. Anybody who wants to catch these hands can get these hands now. But no, women's wrestling is something I've always had a love for. When I first started, my moveset was based off of women's wrestlers, and it still matriculates with some people every now and then. But like I said, Jacqueline was one of my big three in my influences. So I've always loved women's wrestling, and thank God now, there's women-specific promotions like Shine, Shimmer, and WSU, and of course there's Roar, and now there's the Mae Young Classic. And I've gotten to wrestle Marty Bell and Kimberly, who is Ivy Lace in the Classic, and I am so proud of them.
Bell, and I mean, you've wrestled two of the people in there. That's awesome.
And it's good to see them at that point. And I never wrestled Heidi Lovelace or I can't remember what her name is in NXT right now, but. Ruby Riott, excuse me.
Ruby Riott, yes.
But yeah, I've never wrestled her, but I've met her in person. She's nothing but the sweetest person on the planet. She was very nice to me. I met Lacey Evans once when she was just starting to wrestle in Georgia. She was very sweet. And just to see them where they're at now is amazing. And of course, Kiera Hogan's been my best friend for 7 years.
Yeah, and she got that signed contract with Global Force.
I had to message her because I was like, look, I know we're friends, but people are messaging me, asking me about you. And I was like, I'm going to need you to just let everybody, you do your own message or whatever, but I am getting messaged about you. So, promoter, I'm thinking it's a booking, and the promoter's like, yeah, so you happy for Kiera? And I was like, I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah, I got to get me on the card now. Come on.
Right, get me on Impact. Dang. But no, I'm happy
Oh.
for her. I couldn't be more happy for her.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her at Impact, because I'm starting to watch the show so I can help out with we do an Impact recap show every week, and sitting down to watch it, it's so different than what I'm used to watching. It's neat, it's good, and it's bad, but it's it's a neat one. It's a different promotion. You get something different, and that's what I like. You keep getting all these different. You can turn on TV and watch different wrestling, or you can go to different shows and watch different wrestling. It's to me the best time to be a wrestling
Yeah, it's
fan.
all about what you prefer. Because I watched what I call the big three now. But of course WWE. I catch GFW when I can, and then I watch Lucha Underground every week now. So it's good to see the different. It's good to see the different styles, but it's like you're seeing all of this from different perspectives. Like WWE is a standard style that we're used to, but then you kind of get like you kind of get like a backstage like peep show feel from GFW. You know what I mean? With like, especially with how they do their promos, like we just happen to bump into, or being sneaky with the camera work, and then the brilliant camera work and storyline telling that you get from Lucha Underground.
Now, my stepson, he just absolutely fell in love with Lucha Underground, but I've never watched it. Is it more production? Is it, like
it's more of a show. I'll say it like that. It's still really good wrestling, but it's definitely more of a production. Like WWE is live out there cutting a live promo every Monday and Tuesday for Raw and SmackDown, but Lucha Underground's got the feel to where it feels like an episode every week, where you want to tune in and be like, well, what happened? Well, why did he do that? What did he do to get him like that? It's very much like a drama like series.
That's cool. That's cool. A promotion we follow and we've worked with out in Colorado called Rocky Mountain Pro does the same thing on the the Fat app. They run a weekly episodic show online, and then they have their pay-per-views and stuff like that. And then they do house shows. And I never thought I would like a series wrestling, like a television show, but it's actually turned out to be amazed. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to tune in? It's neat.
Oh, sorry.
You got to see. I mean,
it's really fun, especially when you're not used to it. And you're not used to, because it feels brand new. It feels just so brand new.
Cool. Now, I saw that you were at Dragoncon this weekend. How was that?
That was fun. I got my nerd on. That was fun. I didn't attend the wrestling because I was at the 4 on Thursday. But I did. Talon and I went to Dragoncon Saturday. And it was fun because, look, I'm a low-key nerd at heart, and the more people know me, the more they'll find that out.
Yeah, there's a lot of us under the radar.
Yeah.
Because it didn't used to be cool to be a nerd.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to do it. It's fun to do it. And when I went, I didn't really have a costume because it was a last-minute decision to go. But I had some Pikachu stuff, that I've kept since my AWE early days.
Yeah.
So I just wore that, and I went fully crazy on buying a lot of Starfire stuff because I'm a big Starfire mark. So
that's your favorite?
That's my favorite superhero ever, is Starfire.
There was apparently a lot of controversy recently that they picked a black woman to play her in the live action series.
Well, I heard about that. I don't mind, but people gotta remember that Starfire is orange. So
yeah, I mean, what color can you be besides orange?
Right.
Black's a lot closer than white.
Yeah, I don't really care about the color of the person playing the character. Just as long as you play the character and do it justice. Just play the character.
Exactly. They've done such a good job with the comic book movies of going with like these non-traditional people in the roles and making great movies and great storylines out of them.
Right, and it's so much fun to see your characters portrayed. I've always it was weird because I was always I never really liked the main dogs of a show or a series. So I mean, I like Batman, I like Superman, I like Wonder Woman, and I like Iron Man and all that kind of stuff. But I've always been like, let me look at the people who don't get looked at very much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of my favorite people are not like top people, but like Starfire is definitely my favorite. Especially when I found out about Starfire, I felt like I resonated with her, only because she's not accustomed or used to any of her surroundings, but she tries her best to fit in. But she doesn't change how she is. She just tries her best to fit in. And I felt like that was me for a very long time. But then I got comfortable with me, and now I can just do me, and I don't have to conform to anything.
Well, that's a cool viewpoint. That's a really cool viewpoint.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
hair,
that.
So.
Yeah, she's got some wild hair. And some crazy costumes too. So. Yeah.
Well, that's because her powers come from the sun, so she has to get as much sun exposure as possible.
That's
the
point.
Excuse they use. That's the excuse for nudity.
Well, whatever it takes these days, you gotta get what you can get over. Sometimes it's harder to get certain things over. Oh Lord! Now, where have you found your best matches? What do you like to do wrestling wise?
It's weird because I personally don't have a favorite match. I'm super critical of myself. I beat myself up about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I personally don't have a favorite match. And it's weird to categorize my style because I feel like I can do it all. There's some points where and I can actually pick people up now, so don't let me being skinny fool you. But like I can get technical if I have to. I can go up to the top if I have to. I can do submission and chain around if I have to. So I feel pretty well rounded and well versed. But as far as favorite, I can say that some of my best matches have been at AWE and at Roar. I loved my matches. I had 2 matches with her. I loved my matches with Abby Lay. And I had some knockouts with Dimension DeRose, not just at Roar, but at WWA4 as well.
Yeah, I'd be scared of that. I'd be scared of that damn.
It's weird because looking at her butt, like when she goes for that damnesia, right? When she goes for that damnesia, it's like being in the eye of a hurricane because it's all so pretty. But you got to realize it's probably the most dangerous thing about the hurricane. So you kind of forget. And I remember one time she was going to hit me with it, and I was staring at it. And then I was like, "Oh gosh, she's about to kill me," and it was too late. So I was like, "It's like you don't fully prepare for it. It's just death upon impact. It's crazy."
Oh yeah, she told me when I interviewed her, she told me she had fucked some people up with that thing, and I can see it.
Yeah, at Roar one time she gave me like 3 or 4 in a row. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had to be carried out.
Oh.
But no, I adore her to death. She's a big sweetheart. But she's a little.
But her personality is so the bomb.
Yeah.
It was so interesting to talk to her because when she got into character, she sold that 100%. She really felt that. She might actually really feel that. I don't know, but man.
Probably, because she sure didn't hold anything back against me, and I thought we were cool. I was hurting physically and mentally. So,
yeah.
But yeah, as far as the guys, I really enjoy working with the guys actually coming out of the WWA4 right now. Some of my favorite matches have been AC Max, David Ollie. I worked with Aja Pereira, who was really, really very good to work with. I've worked with Fred. Fred would probably be one of my favorites. I'll go ahead and say that. Yeah, Yay High. Fred,
I get to see him. I get to see him Thursday night. I am so excited about it.
You're going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I've seen him before. I saw him at Evolve, and I thought he was incredible. But he's got a match with Gary J Thursday night at Southern Fried, and I am excited.
Yeah, trust me, you're going to enjoy that. Gary J's a big trouble,
yeah.
But but you're definitely going to enjoy that. I have no doubt about it.
And Aja, she and Dementia were on Rise the last time when they had one of their promotional. They do that training seminars and things before the Shimmer shows. Yeah,
I was before the Shimmer shows. They were very ecstatic to do that. I'm proud of both of them for doing that. And then I know that they've also been doing Shine as well, and they've been really impressive in that. So I'm very happy for both of them there as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool, man. Y'all got some dynamite talent coming out of that school.
Yeah, we try to. We're trying to keep everybody pushing. We're just trying to keep pushing out the talent, So it's a lot of fun, and it's good seeing all the new people come out. They're very humble, very respectful. So it's good to see people work hard getting certain places. It's really nice.
That is good because that's the thing. We have found the best way for us to get over with wrestlers and people in the wrestling business is to be humble and be kind and listen and talk to people and just be cool. And if you got people like that coming out of your school, people who understand how to be good to people and how to talk, they'll get a lot farther because with the wrestling business now being a lot of word of mouth and internet, people have to know how to treat each other and how to interact with people to get themselves over.
Yeah, definitely. You have to learn that.
What's your best thing that you can use to talk people out to your shows? Do you do a lot of social media or?
I do a lot of social media. I stay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And people have to remember that, especially when you're a worker, you have to use your social media to the best of its advantages. My favorite to use is like Instagram, mainly because that's where you keep up with your fan base. Like now I've got over 1,000 Instagram followers, and that's from promoting wrestling shows. I post up stills and photos that people tag me in on Facebook. I go straight to Instagram. Or there's also the fact that, I can promote wrestling show posters on Instagram. Although most of mine are selfies.
Yeah.
But it's a very good platform to use. And I think people underestimate the power of social media.
Yes.
If it wasn't for social media, for everything.
We would not be where we are today. And the hard part about social media is it's a full-time job just promoting yourself there.
It's a full-time job. Exactly.
And Nick, the guy that runs the show, he was in Colorado doing a show out there with Rocky Mountain Pro, and so he puts me and lets me run the Facebook and the Twitter for a while, and I just had to log out because I was just so swamped with notifications, and it is just like being at work, doing a full-time job, trying to keep your social media going.
But as a wrestler and being in wrestling, you soon realize that it is kind of like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Especially since you're an independent contractor, so you're your own promoter, publicist, agent, and then on top of that, you actually have to be the character as well. So it's a lot of different avenues under just the wrestling belt, and I think that people learn how to promote themselves. That's why I love the 13th Floor so much.
Oh, those guys kill it. They kill it on the internet.
Kill it on social media.
When we did our last episode with them, we got so many downloads out of California for them.
Right.
How in the hell does anybody in California see them? But they're so big on social media. They know how to do it. Those guys are all over. Trevor is super cool. I've talked to the other two guys also. I see them at shows a lot. Really nice.
And Ike Cross. Yeah.
Yes.
They're really nice.
I interviewed Ike Cross, and my buddy Nick got Chris Bullitt, and he got Damian Bennett. So we split it all up for our tag team special week. And then we did 13th Floor week. But I knew those guys understood because they were there after Southern Fried. After a match, they stood around and they shook everybody's hand, and they offer to take pictures with kids, and they offer to take pictures with fans. Not the fans didn't even have to ask them; they were out there engaging them, and people were eating it up.
Only about a year, well, with the exception of Trevor, only about a year in as well.
Yeah. And I mean, my stepson bought a shirt. My stepson, the background on his phone now is 13th Floor. He loves those guys because they hooked him at a live show with the way they treated him.
You have to learn how to interact with fans. And there's a student at the WWA4 who I mentioned him already, but his name is David Ali. He makes his own like match cards, and he promotes himself very well on Twitter. He always has our WWA4 internet belt posted on social media. He's very straightforward in promoting not just his school but himself, and he's one of those people. He's in the same boat as me as a 13th person. He gets it. He knows how to put it over on social media, gets himself over, and he gets bookings and he gets promotions and stuff like that. And more people need to be more like that as far as advertising and putting themselves out there.
Well, yeah, you don't have managers like you did back in the old day. Jim Cornette's not going to book you on shows all over the place. You got to get out there and hustle yourself. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I've, as far as shows, you work over on the west side of town a lot, and you've worked some of the bigger venues, Landmark Arena. You got some stuff coming up there, don't you?
Yeah, at the Landmark Arena for National Championship Wrestling NCW. I will be there usually every Friday. 8 p.m. bell time. And it's been really fun. That's where most of my matches with AC Mack and who else did I work? I worked with David Ali, and I worked with both the Misfits there. So it's been really fun there as well.
Cool. Now, I've never been there, and that's one of my goals is to get out there. It's just, God, with scheduling for us is the killer. Because you want to go to all your friends' shows. You want to catch everybody. Every time Jim Nasty's in town, I want to go catch them. Or every time I see somebody I know, I want to go to their show. And then they'll be running separate shows sometimes. And it's tough, and that's one thing. But there's a charity show that I really want to go out to that I've seen you on the card for. Tell me about that.
Well, the charity show is our Janie Strong benefit show. Janie she'll be 3 in December. Janie suffers from leukemia, which is a cancer that affects a lot of children.
Yes, I had a friend that's a survivor.
Yeah. Janie, as well as her parents, they've been in the St. Jude's Hospital in Memphis for about 3 months now. And this benefit is to help Janie with medical expenses, and it's also to get the word out there about these struggles and the dangers of leukemia. So this show is to bring awareness to that cause.
Yes.
And it's a good cause because she's such a sweet little girl, and it's all the proceeds go directly to help Janie and the Janie Strong program. It's a good cause, and then the match card just make it so much better and more enjoyable.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talent there, man.
Yeah, a lot of sport talent, but at the same time, we'll have some people from TWE, like Jada Newman and King Bailey will be there. Also going to have Darby Allin will be in attendance as well.
He's dynamite.
He is dynamite. And members of the 13th Floor will be there as well. Icross and Chris Fuller will be there. So it's not a WWA4 event. It's not an NCW event. It's not any other event. It's a Janie Strong benefit event.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did that? Did the wrestlers put it together knowing her? Did the people that do?
Well, one of I mentioned him already. Alan Angels, his father, who is a big wrestling fan. We call him Papa Angels. We know that's Papa Hells. We're trying to make a Papa Angels, so Okay. But he's a very, very big wrestling supporter. He's basically like family to the people at the WWA4, and he goes out to all the indie shows in Atlanta that he can and support. He's a very big support system for anybody in Atlanta, and he came to us with the idea of helping out Janie, and it's a really big deal to me, only because I'm all for children.
Yeah.
And, it's the fact that the little girl who's almost 3 years old is going through something that's so traumatic and devastating to her and her body, and I can only imagine what her parents are going through. And if there's anything I can do or anyone else can do to help ease the pain or ease the burden of someone dealing with leukemia, I'm all down for it.
Oh, definitely. Now you send us the information on that, and we'll try to get that out there and keep it retweeted so people will see it.
Definitely. That event will be at the Landmark Arena October 1st, 5 p.m. bell time. And of course, I will definitely send forward a poster with links so that if you're not able to attend, you're able to donate to the Janie Strong benefit. And there are also hashtag Janie Strong t-shirts available, and all the proceeds go out to help Janie. So
awesome.
Even if you can't attend the show, there are still ways to help, and everything is greatly appreciated.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's good to see good people doing good things to help folks. That's seeing people motivated in one direction is great.
Yeah, so much negative. It's good to see everybody come together for something positive.
I don't get the negativity in the wrestling business because there's stuff I don't like in wrestling, stuff I don't want to watch, but I don't watch it. I don't sit around and bash it, complain, and bitch about it.
If I don't like it, I don't watch it. It's like if you don't like a certain wrestler, don't watch that wrestler.
Exactly.
If you don't like a certain TV show, you don't watch that TV show. It's like if there's a food you don't like to eat, you don't eat that food. It's like
tune in every week to see Roman Reigns. You bitch about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to keep being there.
Right, and you complain about Roman Reigns, but if you don't like Roman Reigns, then don't watch Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
It was the same thing with the whole Eva Marie thing. If you don't like Eva Marie, don't watch Eva Marie. Or don't watch Total Divas or whatever she's on. You know what I mean? You don't like women's wrestling, don't watch women's wrestling. You don't like men's wrestling, don't watch the men's wrestling. If you don't like bears and cages, then don't look at bears and cages.
Exactly. Vote
It's
with your dollar,
Right. It's not that hard to turn away.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's the best viewpoint you can have on wrestling these days. Just watch what you like,
Watch what you like. Have fun. Everybody's too critical. Like what you like and don't.
Well, it's a lot harder to go around hating people and things that don't hate you or don't even know you exist, because it takes so much more effort and so much more out of you to do that. People miss out on that. Don't just go around hating stuff just because you don't.
So much more stressful. You're straining yourself too much being so hateful.
Yep.
And that's a lot out of you. And I don't mean to go back to it, but that's that's something I've been doing a lot more recently on Instagram. Is that I'll post a picture and I'll put like a little quote or something under it, only because people have their down moments. I have my down moments all the time. Yeah. But it's not for me, but it's knowing the fact that maybe I'll say something that could help somebody else. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there are people who have been in my shoes. And if I'm able to help anybody else out, then by any means, I'll definitely do what I can. So because I know whether it's being bullied or if you're self-conscious about your weight or, you think you're ugly. And to me, there's no such thing as an ugly person. But, or acceptance, which it all rounds out to, for me, is just you doing you, which so the whole hair thing, that's where that came into play. I was like, well, I'm just going to do me, and whoever accepts it, and whoever doesn't. And for me, it's actually worked a lot in my benefit. So it's all about doing you and making yourself be seen and achieving everything that you set out to do. That's the main goal at the end of the day.
Indeed. Ashton, I've had a great conversation with you tonight. I really appreciate you calling in. Thank you for coming on our podcast. I can't wait to see you again live. I'll have to run into you at You're going to be at AWE in some capacity.
Well, yes, I'm going to be at AWE 8 weeks later. I cannot confirm or say what I'll be doing. But
no, don't break it. Don't ever break it, man. I like the surprise. You know.
Yeah, but
like
I'll definitely, I'll every Thursday at the WWA4 I'll be there. Fridays I'll be at NCW. I've been doing P-State more regularly now, so I'll actually be at P-State on the 16th. And they just started a new company called Power Championship Wrestling, which I'll be there on the 17th. And, of course, AWE out in Marietta at the Marietta Event Hall. For 8 weeks later, I'll be there at 405 Bell Time.
Awesome. You got your stuff down. You got your dates ready to go, man. That's great. You can't promote yourself unless you know your details.
Exactly.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. So much. Look forward to seeing it again. I'll let you know when it's about to go up, man. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You like that? You want more like it? Why don't you go to www.tap.wrestlingpodcast.com. That's where you'll find our browser links for all of our personal Twitters, Facebooks, all that. You'll find the link to Amazon where you can purchase stuff there. Through our link, we get a kickback. The Fight app, you can buy all your indie wrestling all the way up to Ring of Honor right there. They give us a kickback. Go to Blue Apron, buy some food. Guess what? Kickback there too. There's a player down the center. Lets you listen to all the music. You can find the links to iTunes, Google Play, all those other places to listen to it, or just listen to it right there on your desktop. Subscribe. Big thing to do, guys. You got to subscribe. You get everything brand new. You like us on social media, Tap.Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. On Twitter, we're at Tap.Pod. And also, I'm at Myron the Mark TOP on Twitter. Now, we are slowly starting to tease episodes on our various social media pages prior to them being released. So listen out there, folks. Get some great episodes. Let us know. Give us some feedback. Tap.WrestlingPodcast@gmail.com. That's where you want to talk to us. www.tapoutwrestlingpodcast.com. The greatest website in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.